Hi, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Sophia, sponsored by the Via Hemehe Art House. Today, I am delighted to be speaking with my friend, Dario Tirelli. One of the things that we are focusing on this show is conversations about art, food, and of course, wine. Today, we are talking to Dario Tirelli about his artwork. Dario is known for a number of different things, but I don't think you all know him as one of the most prolific pencil artists in the country. We will be right back when we get into talking with Dario about his love of the arts. And he's going to tell us a bit about how he got started, what it's all about, and just show us a little bit about what he's doing today. We will be right back. So welcome back to the conversation. We know Mr. Dario Tirelli for his exploits in the area of carnival and carnival junkanoo and some other kinds of things. He's been in the beverage industry for a very, very long time. Dario, my audience does not know you as this kind of an artist. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a natural artist. I was born with talent. My hands are my talent. And everything I touch, I get great. So same as carnival, costume is just another form of art. I fell in love with pencil years and years ago, looking at something, couldn't believe it was pencil. And then I met Kason. He got me interested when I went to his place and looked at the pencil. But I also specialize in pastel. I did pastel most of my life. The reason being I'm hyper. So I need to start and finish within a shorter period of time than if I do an oil, which might take 3, 4, 5 days. I could sit down and produce this in one night if I give myself enough time and concentrate on it. That's the beauty of pastel and pencil.
And ladies and gentlemen, this painting here is all color pencil. Just look at the detail. It's just, oh my goodness, it is just so vibrant. And you talked about color and pastels and so forth. Do you paint mostly flowers, or do you paint other kinds? Do you pencil other kinds of
I
designs?
go after the most detail with color variation and different shapes and size. The more detail, so I'm a hyper realist when I paint. I'm not too much of an abstract. I don't think abstractly, that's the problem. I need to get into it because I get some folks pushing me to do it. I love variation. I paint exactly what I see. That's the beauty of pastel and pencil. With oil or acrylic, you have to mix the paint.
Yes.
You have to create the color.
Correct.
I create the color as I flow. So when I do art classes, that's what I try to find out from the student how they see the world. If they see it abstractly or they see it as a realist. And so as a realist, I create the color variation as I go. I love hibiscus, my favorite flowers.
Beautiful.
I've made hibiscus wine and everything else. You can make hibiscus. My yard is surrounded by hibiscus flowers, and I give you something that pops up.
Yes.
When I do, I did a junkanoo piece, and I showed every detail of the guy sitting in the shack, everything in the background, and I could bring that to life.
And I guess some people have that kind of visualization that they actually see through their eyes exactly what it is that they want to be. So you don't necessarily need a painting or a picture on the side of what you actually
Not necessarily. And I try to put every detail because the human brain makes 3D by memory. So you learn to know that the shading gives something pops or make it 3D. So this is on flat surface.
Right.
So I have to create that by creating the images from my mind, what makes 3D.
And ladies and gentlemen, that really speaks to the level of talent this young man had. How long have you been doing this, Dario?
I've been painting all of my life, but sometimes I get too busy doing everything else, and you know that. I'm trying to slow down, but my Grammy told me when I was very young, if I don't live off my talent, I curse God. And so now I know at some point in time, I have to now live off my talent. I really want to, so I'm trying to slow down everything else and then paint prolifically.
So where do you produce this? Do you have a studio somewhere? Do you produce at your home? Yeah, tell us about that.
My home is my studio. My home is my business location for everything I do. And so you walk into my house, you see art all over the place. You see pencil, paint, brushes all over the place. And so I do that. And then I have individual students. I go there and take my art supplies there and teach them.
So what about your client base? I mean, a lot of artists, they work along, they work just to produce work for the Bahamas. Do you find that your art ends up all over the world?
All over.
I mean, that's a good feeling, actually.
What I used to do is, once I post a detailed piece of this, somebody see it on Facebook, I'll get a call and they want to buy it before it's completed. So I like the tease on Facebook. But what I've been doing for years, there was an old art studio on Biscayne Boulevard, just above 125th Street, where I spent some time living. And so there was an old Jew guy that had a studio. So if I take it to him, I leave it on consignment, and then he'll call me, somebody want this. Of course, you have to make a commission. I've sold more art outside the country. I sold 3 pieces to somebody in Exuma. Some rich guy came and he was looking for art, and somebody reached out to me. They loved the horse. The horse was so detailed. And so they bought 3. And so I don't wait on the public here, locally. And I try to now need to start holding on to my originals and sell prints.
Right.
Prints give the average person who don't want to spend $1,200 or $2,400 for this an opportunity to buy this for $99.
So where where can we find a printer? Do we just contact you, or do you have prints already in place that you?
I have prints available. If you contact me, I could also send you the print. You could go to my personal page, Mr. Rhythms 242 on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Dario Tirelli. I just created a Facebook art page, Dario Tirelli's Art. You know, inspired by you and this show when we first started to talk about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you saw we inspire each other. And so that's how you can get access to my art. The good thing with prints is that I could sell this at different sizes.
Right.
And with it being so realistic, and I take it to a professional photographer, and he takes good imagery of it, and so I can hold on to that. And then I can even send that imagery to you via email. And then you can get a print in your market and just pay me for that. The internet is fascinated with art.
Right.
I don't have to do an art show.
Correct.
I
was going to ask you about an art show. Have you done one?
I've never done one by myself.
Just a Tirelli art show.
No, I need to. My problem is I try my best to hold on to grade 21 pieces. You and I discussed that. So I wouldn't say missed, but I sold one. Sweet Emily's supposed to put one of my art, the John Clew piece, on a cover. So I had to sell that because she's a good friend of mine, and the person who bought that is a good friend of mine also. But I need to create an art show. I think the last one we did, you and I did it together with
COVID has come and brought so many restrictions
yes.
about how we gather and so forth. So obviously the next step would be to sell it virtually.
Virtual, yes.
And I'm not sure how that's working out for a whole lot of artists. And what do you think about the virtual platform to selling art? Because to me, art is contextual, and you need to be able to
see and feel and have a
not necessarily touch it, because you don't want people touching your art because of you just don't touch art.
And then art is also cliquish.
Yeah.
So you and a gang of people looking at the same art piece can have different expression of what they see.
Right.
And that's what makes the picture even more valuable.
Right.
You see a brilliant colored pink hibiscus flowers. I see that also, but I see other variations. I supplanted in this 1 or 2 things that I'll have to tell you what it is.
Right.
And so that's the beauty of art, and that's what sells art also.
And being in person
is better than
to purchase art. Yes.
Yeah.
So Dario, you obviously, like I say, he's a prolific artist as far as I'm concerned. Do you share your talent with young people? I mean, have you thought about having an art studio where you actually teach this kind of hyperrealism, realistic art to others?
Well, I just posted a flyer think the first week in January to get my art classes again. Like I said, I'm trying to slow down now of everything else I do and concentrate on art. And I pick up some students. I was advised by a good friend who's a teacher of mine, said, you know, go and maybe put some time in the classroom. And I'm looking at that as I could do it online for now until I get back into the classroom.
But what about in your own personal studio? I would like to be able to come to Dario's Tirelli studio where
my intent is to
of course this is intuitive. I mean, so you have to either be born with being able to do this kind of thing or not. So, but at least teaching Dario, my first piece of art, Dario gave me pointers on how to go about that. So you do have the talent to teach. And so I just want you to be able to share that with the audience and share that with the public, because you do have a gift.
Yes, and my intent is to create a whole atmosphere of everything I've done through my lifestyle. So the studio will be me in life. Because, like I told you, I concentrate on carnival also. That's a piece of art. You walk in my living room, there's a huge costume that I created. And so my whole life, you know, I also am a master carpenter. So I also do art with wood.
Yes.
And so I'm going to create, and I also make bears, which is another form of art, because it's an art to get the flavor you want.
You're multi-talented.
Yeah, so...
This piece behind you, can you ring that? Once again, we're talking with Dario Tirelli, and we're talking to the artist, Dario Tirelli, not the carnivalist,
entertainer.
And the entertainer, and the barista, and the brewer. We're not talking to that Dario today. By the way, Dario is my fellow Rotarian, so I want to put a plug in there for Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise. Yay.
I want to remind me before the show ends.
He's going to be joining us back, President Francis. So, Dario, this piece of art here, now, gosh, the detail is terrific on here. You said that this is a combination of pencil and pastels.
Yes.
Explain to us what that is.
The pencil gives me better details, finer line in definition, and the pastel gives me a broader base.
So it's pastel paint?
No, pastel is like crayon.
Crayon.
All pastel. It takes a certain talent to blend it also, because you literally blend with your hand or pastel stub. But I've been doing pastel long in pencil. My whole life I love pastel. Like I said, I could actually paint this in pastel within 2 hours.
Wow.
With pencil, it might take 7, 8 hours if I stay put. And so pastel gives me the ability to have bigger surface area with coloration. Pencil gives me that detail. Now, if I do this with brush, this would take me a long time. And with brush, you also make mistake.
Right.
With pencil, I don't make mistake.
Right.
Once I start, I don't stop, and I keep the same color pencil and mix it up as I go. I'll blend it. That's the beauty of pencil. And then pastel gives me the surface I want. Because if you look at this, it's a different texture surface. Same thing with the water.
Yes. Yes. So I noticed as when we were discussing the hibiscus, your themes seem to be very vibrant and bright. And this is a marine life. So some people just do marine scenes. Some people just do flowers and that kind of thing. What do you say is your dominant feature in your paintings?
It's detail. The more detail and vibrant the colors I was trying to.
So they're not germane to just the environment or flowers or you just draw whatever you see.
Whatever I wake up and I want to do, I put it on paper. I love crab, descended from Andros. I did one of my best painting is crab. I have a whole heap of crab on paper, and everything is detailed. And so I love crab. So I had to do something with crab. I love horse. I did a horse. The scene in the back here is something it's a picture I captured 86 or 87. And I had it for the longest, and I looked at it one day and I said, let me transpose that onto canvas. And that's what I did.
So speaking of canvas, I'm a fluid artist, but I work on different mediums. I work on canvas, I work on wood, I work on anything actually you can pretty much do some art on. Do you only work on canvas or you work on wood?
I do canvas, wood, the stock paper, which is better for pencil. You can't really do pencil on canvas. I could do pastel on canvas. If you remember the bird I did floating in the air at the Road Yard Show,
right.
all of that was pastel, oil pastel on canvas. And so canvas, you could prepare the surface to accept pastel. With pencil, you can't, because you'll plug a hole in, putting pressure onto it.
Right.
So that's what I love with pencil and pastel. I can put multiple surfaces. I've done pencil and on wood and all.
Right.
You just got to sand it as fine as you can.
Yeah, because it's the
make
preparation,
a preparation
that goes
of that.
in that.
Yes. And so I could do that. That's the beauty of especially pastels. Yeah. And then
so the pastels are more suited to canvas, and the pencil is more suited to paper.
The stock paper that's designed for that. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. What else you want to tell us about yourself, Dario? Where this is 2021. We're at the beginning of a new year. By mid-year, by end of year, what do you want to see for yourself as far as art or one of the other kinds of things that you do and you do so well? What else do you want us to know about Mr. Dario Tirelli 2021?
Well, of course, I'm also a bear expert. I own Bear Fest Bahamas.
Yes.
There's another festival I'm going to launch which represents everything Bahamian and Caribbean, but promoting art, culture, food, drinks, everything else, similar to what we have with the food festival, but more refined to what I want to bring the world in. I think the world wants to come to the Bahamas.
Correct.
But they don't want to go just in a hotel and see swimming with sharks or something like that.
Yes.
They want to come in my neighborhood, your neighborhood, and I want to create that. You and I talked about the festival before. You and I will launch that at some point in time.
Yes.
Slowly, just waiting on COVID.
Yes.
But I love to be free. That's the beauty of being an artist.
Yes.
I could be free. What I do gives me opportunity to be free. I can float around in the day and then stop and prepare 3-4 months towards Bear Fest and Carnival and all that. I give up working where I have to work 9 to 5. That don't excite me no more. I stopped that years ago, and I'm enjoying my life.
And what you do is obviously profitable for you.
Yes, yes, of course. And so that's how I see life. You have to live, and I'm living my dream, which is doing what I want to do. And art is something I'm going to take to another level. One day I'll stop and just go someplace and paint for five weeks straight, and then come back with maybe do an art show, 100 pieces.
So tell us, as we wrap up this segment, Dario, tell us again, or tell the audience where they can find you and where they can find your work on in your possession or as prints or in a store, wherever. How do we find you if we want to have a, because he's not selling his originals. So if you want to have a print of this or the beautiful flowers in the back, or this is something that you're working on behind me as well, and how do we find you?
I'm on Facebook, Dario Tirelli's Art, and plus Dario Tirelli.
Could you spell that out for us?
Dario Tirelli. And then on my Instagram page, I'm Mr.Rhythms. 242.
That would be the carnival part of him?
Yes, but that's the fun part of me. Mr.Rhythms 242, and my art is featured on that also. So you can call me, hit me up. My number is 424-0632, and price is based on you, what you can afford. You might want
so we
the
could
size.
We could negotiate
course,
your prices?
Of course.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yes. See, we have to give people the opportunity to afford art.
Yes.
Art in this country is too cliquish. And that's why you see the same names popping up.
Right.
And so I remove myself from that clique. I want to be able to, you look at this painting every time you wake up in the morning and inspire and pass it on to your kids, for generations to come.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a wonderful conversation with Dario Tirelli. We have been drinking while we spoke with him this beautiful Cabernet Sauvignon by Bristol Wines and Spirits. They are our sponsor for this segment. And Mr. Tirelli, it's really been wonderful to speak with you, and I welcome you again to the conversation with Sophia. And next time we're going to talk about your microbrewery.
Yes, yes.
For which I also tried to brew some beer one time, and it failed. So we're going to actually go through the process of the microbrewery. Just another side of Mr. Tirelli. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the Conversations Sophia's Choice, sponsored by VAMA Art House. And thank you, Mr. Tirelli.
Thank you.